Hi, this is Charlie giving you Friday's live trading, and I hope you're very well. I'm actually going to get started. It's only 25 past 7 this morning, but I'm going to get started. There's a potential trade here on the dollar yen. So I'm going to short the dollar yen right here. It's going to be my first trade of the day. With all I'm going to do, it is early, and so of course anything could happen. It could turn around because it is quite early at the moment as far as volume is concerned. But I'll put a couple of units in, and I'm going to 04 here, and I'm going to put a stop sort of just above this high here. And if it's wrong and it gets stopped out, then we can then have a look at the markets again, sort of closer to 8 o'clock, and check the volumes and everything else then, or say as the volume comes in. So it is a bit early. I don't normally take trades this early, but potential is for a breakdown here. Looking at the higher time frame charts, let's go out to the hourly charts. It's right down here, and just going to see if it wants to break. So I've put a couple of units in there, and we shall see how it goes. So I'll press pause for now. Right, okay, just come back. I'm just having my breakfast at the moment. From where I was just shorted up here, it's just run down just while I've been preparing my porridge. As far as targets are concerned, the first target's going to be down at about 73 or so, that sort of zone, in the mid 70s anyway. So nothing to do with it at the moment, but like I said, it was looking like it was going to come down for the break, and so that's where we're at the moment. So I'll press pause for now. Okay, so this is where we're at. It's just coming up to 8 o'clock now. What we're going to do is I'm going to add another unit into this band here. Everything's facing down, so we'll add another unit down here. Still with a stop up here though, and on this intraday trade, and looking to target down into the sort of low to mid 111.70s. But there could be some more downside than that. We'll see. We've got this. We've got CPI inflation coming out of the inflation coming out of the US today, and retail sales. So decent news coming out of the US today. So it could be that the dollar yen plays around for the morning or whatever, and these markets settle down, and then we're waiting for this afternoon. But for the meantime, let's see what's going to happen. Hopefully, if having the stop here, if it does decide, they want to play around all morning, they could, based on the hourly chart, still retrace. That stops just above this bar, you see. They could retrace up there and still be below this trend on the hourly charts. But my stop has to be there in order to get the risk reward. It has to be there today. So anyway, we'll see if we get a band play here. Pull back into these bands, and I'll use that as an excuse to get another short off. Okay, we've decided to adjust this. When I say we, obviously I'm in the trading room, and not going to bother shorting it here into the bands. Actually, we've got an 8 a.m. pivot just coming in. It's a little bit higher at 112.01, so we can put a unit in there. Well, so far it didn't quite get to that 4-hour pivot, so we've missed out on that one. Maybe it comes up later or whatever, but for now, no, it hit the band, and maybe I should have just executed there. It was one of our traders in the trading room said, "Oh, what about this 4-hour pivot, Charlie?" Oh yeah, okay, we'll short it there. Anyway, we're just playing a waiting game anyway. The short's in. It's just a case of seeing how this is going to play itself out. Generally, it was just an option to add another position up here, but we'll see. Okay, just back. I said I'd add another unit if we got up to this 8 a.m. pivot, which we've just struck, but I was just playing a video with the guys in the trading room, so I have hit it. Let me show you the I'll just take a screenshot of the 3 entries I've got in place currently. So there we go. So I've just hit that one there at 112, and there were the 2 from this morning. So from earlier, should I say. So I'm just going to get that stop put in place on that one. So the stop's going to be in the same place. So I'm popping the stops above this high here, so around about 112.15. So I'll get that sorted out. It's at 112.14 on mine because I actually get filled at effectively 112.15. and we shall come back to this. I suspect, because of the news we've got coming out today, that we could be waiting on this one now until this afternoon. So anyway, it could just be holding up here, do some more of a retrace potentially here, and but I'm using those levels as my levels just in case, and now we just play a waiting game. I suspect it's going to take until this afternoon though. Anyway, press pause for now. Okay, so we've got that extra unit in there, and as you can see, the dollar yen has it still is retracing that bit further. So we're into this sort of what time are we at now? 9:30 in the morning. We had the nice early run, and it's now doing a nice retracement. And like I said earlier on, I suspect that this we're not going to really see a proper resolution to what's going on here until 1:30 today with the news that's coming out. And I was just saying to the guys in the trading room here that my stop is susceptible being above this high this morning. I didn't think it was when all the momentum was shoving to the downside, but as it slowed down and it started to turn a bit, that stop is a little bit susceptible. I'm not going to move it. I'm just going to accept it. If I get stopped out, so be it. And then what I would then do is wait for the news, and if it then started coming down on the news, then I'd jump in on the back of that this afternoon anyway, if that was to happen. But of course, there is that possibility that obviously that news comes out strong, those retail sales come out strong, and that the dollar yen, the dollar, does a big reversal. So yeah, we've had the momentum this morning. It was doing rather nicely, but it doesn't mean to say that it can't do a big reversal. In which case, we'll be looking at that as well this afternoon. I doubt I would be trading it on the long side because of the overall. Oops, let's put this onto an hourly chart here. The overall trend is still to the downside, even if it shot up to sort of 112.20 or to 112.30, it would only just be coming back up into resistance up here. So I wouldn't be trading it if it shot up today on the news, but on the long side. But certainly if it did a reversal today and then going into next week, then I'd start looking at it next week once I got a bit more confirmation. So, but for now, I'm getting a bit ahead of myself because just talking about potential possible outcomes here. So looks like we're going to be fairly quiet unless really from an activity perspective, I won't be taking any fresh trades here this morning. Even if I get stopped out this morning on this up the highs up here, I won't be taking any fresh trades, so it'll just be a case of waiting for that news. I'll press pause. Okay, just back, and we can see that this dollar yen's doing a big old reversal this morning. So it's right on coming up to my stop as we're speaking here. So it's a bit of a shame because we had all that momentum this morning. It's not a big trade, it can be a big loss, but we had all that momentum this morning. It was running down nicely from that initial entries over here. And it's come down and it's decided to do a big old reversal, and I think I'm about to get stopped, and it's possible that I'm just going to get nicked just for it to then gradually then start to roll over again. I do see that potential, but I can't adjust my stop. I've picked that stop level this morning and I've got to sit with it. So it is right on my stop at the moment, so we're just going to see if I do get stopped or not. So I'm watching it off screen. And if I get stopped out, then I'll quickly take that screenshot. Now, if I get stopped out here, there's nothing more to do at this stage. My overall analysis is actually for the long side on the dollar yen, but in the short term, I could see that potential bit more of a rundown. But at the moment, this morning we're at 10 a.m. It's had a nice retracement up. So, but like I said, my overall analysis is to the long side. So. But that's on the bigger picture, and that's further out. I've got to wait for more confirmations on that. So we're right here on my stop at the moment. I've not quite been hit, but it's right on it. So if I'm going to get stopped here, is there anything else to do? No. We're going to be waiting on that news this afternoon, the retail sales and the CPI data out of the US. So really it'll just be a case of waiting on that, and I'd still potentially be trading this afternoon. Even if I get stopped out here, could still be waiting on that news for this afternoon, because I think it should be it's decent enough news and enough to could make the markets interesting for a bit this afternoon. So we'll see if there's anything else I can glean from the markets. But I'll press pause for now because it's not quite hit my stop. It's got to this high, but my stop, I put my stops in at 15, which means, you know, I can always, it's going to take above 15 to get me stopped out actually. So it's right there. We'll see. I'm sure it probably is about to, but not yet. So I'll press pause for now. Okay, just back, and yes, I have been stopped out now. It was running, so these are the entries, remember, 04, 04, and 00, and I've got, by the time I take the spread into account, the actual stops at 16, as you can see there. So, you know, a smallish stop, but a loss nevertheless, so far today. So, this could just be, like I've been saying, this could just be that I've had my stop in the wrong place. I'm a bit concerned would be the wrong word, but I'm wondering whether this stop everything was coming down so nicely this morning that I didn't have to worry about the stop. That looked reasonable. But sometimes when a market retraces, it will want to take out some prior levels, and it could just be that I've been nicked there, and this is actually going to roll over gradually, roll back over, which would be a bit of a pain. I have some other positions on the dollar yen which are still in play, but this intraday trade that I've taken here this morning is obviously just been stopped. So, but anyway, we shall see. It's all going to be about these the data coming out, like I keep saying. So I won't be placing any more trades this morning, even if this starts to back off here. It could just be that I'll have to look back at it and say, yep, your stop was in the wrong place, and we shall review that later. But for now, I'll press pause and we'll come back to this closer to 1:30. Okay, it's now 25 past 1, so we've got 5 minutes to go till the news. So yes, obviously I've got stopped out on those trades this morning, and now just playing a waiting game for the news. Obviously we can see the dollar yen is still held up, but the euro dollar has come down. So I've been in a euro short this week with a number of our traders. So I'm just playing a watching game now, really. The pound has come off a little bit. I see some potential there. Could even be trading the pound on the back of this news. So it's possible to be trading the pound. So we shall just see once we get into the news, and I'll let it do whatever it's going to do, and then we'll see if there's a trade on. So I'll press pause for now. Okay, so just come back and let's have a look. We have got retail sales coming at 1.6 and CPI came in at 0.5% versus 0.6. So we've seen the dollar yen come back down to where I thought it was going to be. So and we're probably seeing the euro going up. Yes, we are. So let's just see what happens here though, and get there. We've got an initial reaction here to the news. And but it's obviously looking like we're going to be going short, so I might actually be able to get a short in here on the dollar yen, so we'll see. So might be back to the original analysis, which was for the yen to come down. So let's get a ticket up. Should come up. No, it's not. Okay, so I am going to be looking to get short on this dollar yen for a run, but the problem is I don't have quite the risk to reward as it was going to be, but we'll see if I can get a unit in. I'm saying if I can get it in because I want to ensure that I can get a risk to reward sort of opportunity in play. So let's just pause here for a moment. Euro's going up, so I suspect we're going to see. I was talking to the guys in the trading room here today, saying, well, technically the euro was still in a position where it could go higher based on the 4-hour charts, and this yen lower. So I was surprised the yen came retraced as much as it did. But anyway, and now it's all gone a bit messy. But nevertheless, we're going to be looking here after this 5-minute bar's closed, see if we get a retracement, and I'll be shorting it. So hopefully we can get that retracement, and then we'll see. I'll press pause for now. Okay, so if we can get a little bit of a retracement, I will be looking to get short around about 111.90, that sort of zone, so not too far. I'll be looking to get short here. I'll press pause for now. Okay, right. So we've the yen's just sort of halted for now, and it's just doing a bit of a bounce. It's coming up to my upper bands, so I am going to hit it on the band play and just put a couple of units in and just see. We've hit a load of support on this dollar yen on the on the daily charts. We've hit a load of support that I use on my daily time frames, and we've hit a daily S3 pivot as well. So we've hit a bit of support down here on the high time frames, but nevertheless the dollar yen has got this big sell-off bar, so unless it then creeps its way up and does like a V-shaped reversal, it's still going to have a pretty negative bar today. Let's actually take you out to a daily chart so you can see it. There we are. It was looking like a hammer earlier on when it was doing all those retracements earlier on, and after this it's completely reversed. So if we get up to these bands, I will hit it with my rhythm stick and put a couple of units in. I know we've hit some support, but we'll just see if it can get back down there, and then we'll have a look. So where's the deal ticket? There it is. So let's just see if we can get there. I'll press pause while we're waiting. Okay, right. So I'm going to be looking. I'm laughing here because a couple of the guys in the trading room say that that's what I say all the time. Okay, right. So I've got a bit of a bad habit going on there. We're just about to come up to my upper bands here, so I'm going to be shorting this dollar yen here, knowing full well we've hit some support on the daily charts. Nearly there, nearly. Just let's see if it hits my white line there. And so I'm well aware that it has done that. Hit some support. So I could just ignore it as a trade, but we've got some nice momentum, and I just want to see if we can. Sometimes when you get these news days like this and you get a decent move, you will get a secondary move. So let's see if it can hit. It didn't quite hit the white line anyway. So anyway, that's what I'm looking to hit. So I'll press pause while I'm waiting here. Okay, so we're nearly there for a bit more. It's still not quite hit it, just as I've hit record. See if we can get the dollar yen here to retrace a little bit more. Now I'm going to keep it relatively tight. I'm going to put a stop up around about 112 here, so it's going to be relative to where the bands are. So it'll be kept tight. If it's going to work, it needs to just sort of, it can have a little bit of an overshoot, but then pretty much okay, there we go. It's hitting it there. So I'll get 2 units in. So 2 units are short. 2 units short there, about 88, I think it was. And I'll pop a stop up at 112.01, so I'll put it just a pip above. And if it's going to do a big reversal because of that, the daily support it's coming to, fine, so be it. But for now, I've got all this intraday momentum down here. I'm going to see if this can come back off again and and dribble its way back over. So I'm just going to get the stops in place, and then I'll be back in a bit. So I'll just bring this back up. Okay, so we're already getting this reaction down, so I can now start moving this stop a little bit already because I've got all this momentum to the downside. If it decides to turn back up again, then something else is going on. So it can wiggle around and come back up to this little high. So I'll still have my stop just a little bit out of the way, up at about 96, but I can move the stop down to 96 now. So the stop is now already, I'm just about to do it, I'm going to move that stop, I'm just doing it off screen, down to 96 because it needs to, with all the momentum increasing to the downside and all the moving averages coming down on top of price, if it decides to then start coming up, then again, I'll give it a little bit of wiggle room, but I don't need to have that stop. The initial stop, yes, it's different because whilst it's in this sort of retrace, you've got to give it that space to do that. But now it's have this reaction to my bands. I can now move that stop. So the stop's now been moved to 96. Down from there. Okay, so we're just back. So if we can get down, I've been talking to the guys in the trading room here. I'm still with them today, and so if we can get down to about 74 area on the chart here, then I'll close out this one of the tickets, which is obviously I got in at, like I said 88, it was 87.8, so yeah, round up. And then the other half, I'll just see if we can get a bit more of a run down into the, I don't know, 111.50 or so area. See if we can get a bit more of just get a break. If the other half can do it. But first of all, I've just come back, just pressed record again, and now it's sort of holding. So I will be moving this stop again soon. I'll be aggressive on that. Now it's come off, so that stop I'll be able to move down to about, well, really, realistically, I could move it down to that high, but I'd still like to give it just a little bit more. So I could move it down by another pip or so, I guess, but not, I guess, too much need. But anyway, I'll press pause for now. Okay, just taking this one off there at 74 there. Just bank that one at 74, leaving the other one on. Okay, just taking that one. We'll see if we can get a bit of a run here. Okay, so that was banked there. Oh, sorry, I was in the middle of typing to onto our app people as well, because there's been market moves all over the place obviously today. So we're in swing trades as well via the app and stuff. So we banked that half there on this dollar yen. With this trade now, I'm going to move that stop down now to 90. So let's just do that on the remaining bit. So let's just get that. That was at 94. Obviously, that would stop me out at 95 because that's how it works on here. So, so therefore that would be about 89. Okay, so I'm moving that stop down to 89 now. So whatever happens on this trade, I can't lose on this trade. But obviously, I had those trades from this morning which got stopped out. So whatever happens today, if it comes up from here and stops me out, then I'll lose. But I've made a little bit of money on this move here this afternoon. So I've made back a little bit of this morning's loss, which wasn't that big, but. I think that's about it at the moment. So we'll press pause again. Okay, I'm going to bring this to an end because I need to get this video published. It's coming up to 3 o'clock, and I have got other things to do to get on with later. So let's just take a final screenshot of these last two trades. Remember, you've already shown you the screenshot from earlier on's trades. The reason I'm doing screenshots because I am in other swing trades, which I don't always want the main database to know about. So these were the two trades that we've just taken here this afternoon, both at, like I said, practically 88. We've got the one that we've just taken out at 74, and that's the one that's already closed for £91, and this one is currently open, as you can see, and it's in current open position of about 98. As I've taken this screenshot just now. So as we can see, it's saying the current price is at 73. Obviously, it's moving around a bit. It's at 74 now. But anyway, so that's where we're at. So we'll just see what happens going into next week. So if it comes down, great. Then I'll run it down into the mid 111s, I should think. Or if it comes back up, it'll just stop me out at practically just a bit above break even there, won't it? What was the stop loss at now on that one? I've put it in at 89. So yeah, about a pip, or let's call it 2 pips above break even. Have a great weekend. It's actually been a really good week of trading this week. It's been some nice moves. So an overall loss so far for today, depending on how much this runs though. If this runs down to the 111.50 area, then put me back into profit for the day. But other than that, yeah, some nice trading this week. So a very long video. Apologies about that for any of you who are still watching this. I'll see you next week.